Hey guys, this is Jared from Marketing Mavens here to provide a quick and dirty demo on how to set up Maven RSS to email A to Z. I'm going to keep it pretty cash as we go through this here. So the three tabs I have open are the Maven software found at mavensmembership.com, and the next one of course is Infusionsoft, and the third would be my website or blog that I'm looking to integrate with Infusionsoft. So what I'll do, the first step, I will come into Infusionsoft and go to CRM Settings and click on Tags. I'm going to add 2 tags. You can see I've played around with this before, and I'll even create a blog category on the fly here. Perfect. So I've got those tags created. Now I'll log into Maven's membership. Once logged in, I'll go over to Products, access Maven RSS to email, and you can see that I have one set up in here from previous tests. We're going to create one from scratch, so I'll click Create New, and I'll give it a name, which will be Owner Magazine. And then I come to my website. Now, if your website's hosted on WordPress, 99% of the time, you're going to find your feed at your domain /feed, like that, which this one is. Now, if you don't see it there, you might mean that your blog is actually installed in a different directory, something like that, and you can check that out. But for now, we've confirmed we know it's feed. Okay, so this is the XML branch, and doesn't always, or I should say XML tree, doesn't always look pretty. What you can do is copy this and paste it over into Firefox. And here's what that looks like in Firefox. So I really like checking these things in Firefox because it's formatted really well. You can see if something's not in line or out of whack. This is a good looking feed. Everything's organized, consistent, and there's nothing random that seems inconsistent about it. So it looks good. So we'll come back into Maven RSS to email and paste that feed. And then we will choose our blog test. Oh, you know what? I'm going to click Save real quick. Might have already synced the tags before earlier. So I'll click on this Resync Infusionsoft Data button on the right. This might happen to you as well, where you're starting to build something, then you go do something in Infusionsoft, but now you've already got a session with Maven RSS to email. Not a big deal. And go ahead and click the blog subscriber test for now and save that. Okay. The next thing that we will do is work on our actual email. So this particular client paid for the done for you option, where a member of our team will basically build it for you. This tutorial is so that you can do it on your own, but I recognize that some people have neither the time nor the creative means to pull it off, and so if you'd like help with that, it's something we can certainly provide. Okay, and I'm going to come to Templates. So from the top in this drop-down menu, you would select Email, which would load a new email. For the sake of time, I'm going to select one that I've already built. And you can see basically kind of looking at the website here, which I think they've even made changes after the fact, but it's kind of all the same color scheme, logo, it's branded, feels consistent with the experience that you'll have when you go from the email, from the inbox back to the blog. So one thing that I like to do is I like to indicate with the title of the template that this is for the RSS to email plugin, and then I might even do something like this, drag and drop, and I'll explain that in a second why we do that. And I'll just click Save, and let me edit the email body. You want to make sure to not edit this in the classic or code builder, but keep it in drag and drop for the time being. And you can insert, basically move stuff around, do whatever you'd like in here. And get your template, drag and drop. I think for most people, they can get a pretty decent looking template. You might already have one in your Infusionsoft account, and you just want to go ahead and bring it over, you can certainly do that. For now, I'll just show you as if we had kind of played around in here, created a new one. I did want to show you kind of a cool little thing we did with this guy. We actually, you know, the sharing options are going to share the hosted version of the email. They're not going to share the Facebook. Basically, they're not going to share your post URL, which is completely different. So we've done some cool things in here, which I will probably include in the, I don't know, maybe in our Facebook user group or something. But we've done some cool things in here to actually share. Now it does say follow, but it's a heck of a lot better the fact that someone can click this and either through Facebook or Twitter easily post a link that goes straight to your blog post, not to an email where it's just multiple clicks for them to ultimately arrive at where you really want them to be. So we've got this. You know, once we feel good about it, you know, let's say I would like a little spacer between those guys there. That looks better. Once we feel good about this, we click Save, and we close the builder, and we hit Save one more time down here at the bottom. Once that page refreshes and we have a successful message, we're going to come down and click on the Clone button. Now this is our cloned version. I like to, first things first, change the name of it. So I'm going to call this HTML, and again, come down and save. Now the reason why I've cloned it is I'm going to convert this HTML guy. I'm going to say use code builder. Once you click on this, this is the message that says once you can't go back essentially. So once you go into the code, you'll never drag and drop again, at least not with that email template. So if you're on a Mac, Command A, or Windows, Control A, and same with Command C, Control C to copy. You can right click, copy it, but you just want to get it copied. Okay, so I'll fill this out real quick. So this little title merge field, if you reference on the right hand side, is going to pull in the post title into the subject line, which you may or may not want. You could also say something like, you know, fresh from the blog, or whatever you want to say there. I'll click on HTML. Now what you do not want to do is paste right in here. This will not work at all. So delete that. You want to click into the HTML, paste it there, click the update button, and now we have this nice email that we generated inside Infusionsoft with a fair amount of ease, and we have it inside Maven RSS to email. Now you'll notice that this is currently merging in the title here along with the link, and then what it's also doing is merging the full post, so the entire HTML of the blog post. Let's say I wanted to actually do just the first few lines with the continue reading link. We could easily do that. I'm going to switch this out for description, and then we'll just return once, and then I can do a read more or a continue reading, whatever sounds good to me. Get rid of that anchor. Okay, read more. And if I need to make any last minute changes, I can. You'll notice that we already had, you'll notice that we had some of the merge fields in there, and I like to do that sometimes, carry those into Infusionsoft as I'm making my template, but you can also add them here. The key really is that you've got some type of text with the size, font, everything, the color that you want it to be for when it goes out. So that's it on these top email settings. I'm going to save real quick and then talk about some of the options that we find below. Okay, so before we talk about use loop content, we need to talk about delivery. So you can either do one of two things. Each time you publish a post, you can have Maven RSS to email immediately create the email with all the values from the blog, send it over to Infusionsoft, shoot out the broadcast right away. Or you can create what we call a digest, where you actually schedule a certain day or days of the week, times, and we'll get to that in a second. But you only use loop content, you only loop through recent blog posts if you're sending a digest scheduled on a certain day and time of the week. Okay, if you're doing the immediate, you're gonna set it to no. But let's say you are sending a digest. So here's what you do. You want to take these types of fields, for example, screw something like this. I know how this is going to copy over. Not well at all. So you'd want to put HTML in here like we did above. That will be your loop content. Then up here in the section above, we would actually change this to loop HTML. So the only merge field up here, loop HTML, and then all of our other stuff would be in here, and it would go through and actually loop, if that makes sense. Hope it does. So for now, I'd say 80% of our customers send it out immediately. So we'll change it back to no. And then use post images. If you use post images, it gives you an image height and width. You know, that is just critical. When you blog, if you're using images, while you may get them in all different shapes and sizes, you want to have some consistency to your blog. So this is going to grab the initial image in the post, and so you want to have that be a consistent size. You don't want to put in dimensions here, and then as you continue posting moving forward, be including images of all different sizes, or else it's going to try and squeeze and squish and force them to be the size that you've indicated here. So for my needs, I usually don't include post images. Use tracking links. This is actually really cool. So you don't have to do anything else other than that. But what it does do is it does change. So instead of being a link that reads ownermag.com, it is going to use a URL shortener. But the beautiful thing is we bring all those additional clicking stats in, uniques versus total. We do that for opens as well. So I think most users really like being able to see those reports. But then again, some don't. Some care more about just the automation of getting it out the door. So totally up to you. It's an option. And then save email in Infusionsoft. If you want every single time that we send out a broadcast to save that template with the content that went out, so you've got a unique template for each post or each digest, you can do that by changing this to yes. So I'll just click save. I don't know what I had changed or not changed. And then let's click activate. So automatically send new posts. Leave that to no. Now the funny thing is people will try and do the test. So I'm going to again choose my blog subscriber test and save. And you get this little like send test email, and people will try and send a test and they can't figure out why it's not working. What you need to do is come to the activate tab, automatically send new posts, leave that to no. Activate when you're ready to do a test, click save. So we could actually come here and then we can send a test. We're not done yet though, because we do want to automatically email new posts. That's part of why you signed up, right? That you don't have to do this at all. So we will click, when we're ready, we'll click yes, and it says it'll go out. It's basically going to go check our blog and scan through it and get the post and send it out within the next 30 minutes. So schedule immediately, again, that's just going to send out. If we had designed the whole loop content, I could do days of the week or days of the month, and I simply check the ones I want and the timing of it, and it would be scheduled like that. If we do the loop content, you have some additional controls. This is really cool. We didn't have this originally, and some of you using Digest may not even realize it exists yet, but you can set the maximum number of blog posts within one email. So you get to decide this. We had a default of 10, and for people who were, didn't send it except for like once a month, sometimes they want to go a little beyond that. Maybe they wanted less. So you determine. And what will happen with the loop, so you know, if you publish a post on Sunday and it goes out via Maven RSS email, you've got a digest configured, you publish it, you just happen to publish before the digest is scheduled. And let's say you publish 5 blog posts during the week. When you're scheduled to send again on the coming Sunday, it's going to loop through and say, okay, what are all the new blog posts that have not been included in a previous digest? And it will then grab the 5 and it will recognize the 6 as having been previously sent, and it will send it. It'll loop the 5 in, so you'd have basically, title, description, read more link, and then maybe you had designed a divider in there. Title, description, read more link, divider, and so on. So you can also, the really cool thing is if you have the best of intentions to blog frequently, but then you actually don't get down to it, you can actually, this is an important feature as well, you can exclude posts that are older than a certain number of days. So you can say, hey, I don't want to be emailing people a post if it's older than 45 days. That's just ridiculous. I don't want to be like new from the blog from a month and a half ago, right? So anyway, so you can totally control that to be whatever you'd like. And again, those are all settings having to do with looping, okay? If I switch this back to immediately, don't even have to worry about any of that. It just goes out immediately. So different strategies for different people. Digests are great for large content producers. If you can imagine, we've got clients who are producing multiple posts a day in different categories. You do not want to email your subscribers 3 times a day. You will get spam complaints, and more than likely your Infusionsoft account shut off. So if you're an avid blogger, the digest is going to be a great fit. If you email once a week, or blog once a week, or even twice a week, or less frequently, once every 2 weeks, once a month, you're going to want that baby to go out immediately. It's like, man, I worked hard on getting this thing done, and you're going to want to push it out immediately. So that's it. We've literally configured it A to Z. After you've ran some successful tests, what I like to do is you just want to make sure you come back and now change this to your blog subscriber tag. And this is the tag that you should be using, whether you have just an opt-in form dedicated to the blog, or whether you start adding checkboxes on some of your lead capture pages that say, I'd also like to subscribe to the blog, and that applies a tag, blog subscriber. But you want to make sure that you are selecting the tag that best identifies the people who raised their hand and said, yes, please send me blog updates. I think that's it. There's some other ninja stuff, videos I've made in the past about allowing your subscriber to have, basically full control. They can choose the frequency on how often they would like to receive email. So literally, people on your list, some people might say, send it to me immediately. Some people might say, send me a digest once a week. Some people might say, send me a digest once a month. It's a little bit more configuration for you, but it gives them full control. Similarly, I've done a video on how they can subscribe to maybe only specific categories on your blog. If you are an avid blogger, got a large blog, maybe multiple writers working for you across multiple categories, I might not be interested in getting emails all the time about all these different posts, but if you send me, if I want to subscribe to sports, for example, I would have the ability to do that. Again, a little bit more configuration on your end, and that's kind of getting into some of the more ninja stuff. But hopefully, you'll be able to watch this video that we just went through and follow my steps, replicate it, have a great experience. If you have any questions, let us know. Drop us a line at support@marketingmavens.com. You can also, ding ding, hit us up on live chat right within the software, and we'd be happy to help you. Thanks.